The moment fans had been waiting for finally came. Jon Rearden was healthy again. He had finished treatment. He was talking openly about returning to Hudson and Rex. And for the first time in months, it genuinely felt like everything was about to go back to normal. Fans believed Charlie Hudson would walk back onto the screen, Rex would be by his side again, and the show would finally feel complete. But instead, something shocking happened behind the scenes. The production moved forward without him. No emotional farewell. No proper explanation. No real acknowledgement of the actor who helped build the identity of the entire series. And now, with season 9 reportedly happening and Jon Rearden still nowhere to be seen, fans are asking one question louder than ever before. If he was ready to come back, why did they replace him in the first place? Because the deeper you look into this situation, the more confusing it becomes. And honestly, some of the details surrounding season 9 make this entire story feel even stranger than fans originally thought. For a long time, people believed Jon Rearden's absence from the show was temporary. When he first disappeared during season 7, most viewers were confused, but they were also understanding once the truth came out. Jon revealed publicly that he had been undergoing treatment for tonsil cancer, and immediately the entire conversation around his absence changed. Suddenly, this was not about contracts or creative disagreements anymore. This was about someone fighting through one of the hardest moments of their life. And fans rallied around him in a massive way. Messages flooded social media. People from all over the world sent support, encouragement, and prayers because whether you watched the show casually or followed every episode religiously, Charlie Hudson had become more than just another TV character. He was the emotional center of the series. The warmth of the show came from him. The humor came from him. The chemistry between Charlie and Rex was the reason so many people kept returning week after week. And once fans understood why Jon had stepped away, they became willing to wait as long as necessary for him to recover. That is what made everything that happened afterward feel so shocking. Because slowly, signs started appearing that something behind the scenes was changing permanently. At first, the production treated Charlie's absence like a temporary situation. Phone calls. Mentions. Small references designed to remind viewers that he still existed somewhere within the story. But then another shift happened. The show introduced Mark more aggressively into the spotlight. And look, this is important to say because fans have been very clear about it online. Most viewers do not actually hate Mark as a character. The frustration comes from what he represents. Because the second the show started positioning him as the replacement for Charlie instead of simply another character within the team, the entire tone of the series changed. And fans felt it immediately. The atmosphere became colder. More serious. Less personal. The emotional balance that made Hudson and Rex feel comforting suddenly disappeared. What used to feel natural now felt forced. Even scenes that were clearly written to create warmth or humor started feeling strangely empty because the dynamic audiences connected with for years was gone. But despite all of that, fans still held on to hope because Jon himself kept giving them reasons to believe he was coming back. He posted updates. He talked about recovery. He shared moments visiting the set again. And honestly, those posts created genuine excitement throughout the fandom because they made it sound like his return was only a matter of time. People thought season 8 would be the comeback season. The emotional return. The big moment where Charlie Hudson walks back through the door and everything finally clicks back into place, but instead, the exact opposite happened. SITIF released announcements that made it painfully clear the production had chosen a different direction entirely. Mark was no longer just helping carry the story temporarily. He was being pushed forward as the future of the show itself. And the reaction online was immediate. Fans were not just disappointed. They were genuinely hurt because from their perspective, it looked like the show had moved on from Jon while he was still recovering from cancer treatment. That is the part many viewers still cannot get over. Because according to Jon himself, he wanted to return. He was ready. Healthy. Willing to continue. But the door had already been closed without most fans even realizing it. And once people understood that, the entire situation surrounding Season 8 and now Season 9 started looking very different. Suddenly viewers were not asking whether Charlie Hudson would come back anymore. They were asking why the production seemed so determined to move forward without him at all costs. And honestly, the deeper this story goes, the more difficult that question becomes to answer. What makes this entire situation even harder for fans to accept is the fact that Season 8 did not exactly prove the production team right. If anything, it created even more questions. Because the moment the season started airing, the reaction online became impossible to ignore. Episode after episode, viewers kept pointing out the exact same problem. Something felt missing. And not in a small way either. The energy of the entire show had changed. Longtime fans who had spent years watching Hudson and Rex suddenly found themselves struggling to connect with it emotionally. And the reason kept coming back to the same thing. Charlie Hudson was gone, and the show never truly figured out how to replace what he brought to the screen. Because here is the reality that I think the production underestimated. Charlie was not just the lead detective.